Welcome to Ani Beast. In the 21st century, humanity attempted to colonize Mars because, hey, constantly fighting wars on Earth is just so boring, right? So they sent special algae to spread water and plant life on Mars. They also sent cockroaches in the hopes that the algae would use their corpses to multiply. 500 years later, some scientists went up there to check up on their little science project. But giant humanoid cockroaches called terraformers killed them. 2 years later, humanity sent another mission called Bugs 2 to capture these terraformers, but they were killed as well, and only a couple of people survived. 20 years after the Bugs 2 mission, and this is how the story starts. It's the year 2006, 19 AD, and we see rich people surrounding a game arena with hungry vulture eyes. They are betting on fighters to the death. A fighter named Arcady enters. He is a tall and strong Japanese karate master. His childhood sweetheart is ill, which is why he needs the prize money to treat her. But to his surprise, his opponent for this match is only 14 years old. Bear. It's a mother-ducking bear weighing 342 kilograms. My dude is screwed. The bear slashes at Candy's face, but he collects himself and uses his amazing strength to fight him. The odds are still not in his favor, and the bear has started devouring his flesh while he's alive. Just as his life is about to end, he thinks of his lover and how she was always there for him. Suddenly, he is filled with rage and turns into a literal beast. He successfully defeats the bear and smashes its head into smithereens. Later, Arcady asks for the money to save his lover, but apparently she has already died and her body was sold to some shady people. His whole world shatters in front of his eyes. Just then, one of the men hugs him tightly and asks him if he wants to save other children with the same diseases as his lover. The man introduces himself as Komachi, the captain of NASA Mars exploration team. The other woman in command is Michelle. This disease seems to be very infectious and it came from a virus from outer space. It is so dangerous that they will have to leave for Mars to find a cure. Arcady agrees to go with them at the NASA headquarters. Arcady has been bedridden for a week after surgery to modify his body. At the place, we see 3 other people: Marcos, Alex and Sheila from Mexico. They are also preparing for the surgery modification to go to Mars for the mission. We also meet Adolf, a German officer for the mission. There's also Eva, who is kind of a shy person, not sure what someone like her is doing in a mission like this, but the anime trope of a shy and innocent girl must be fulfilled. Adolf talks about how the Mars expedition is hard and some of them will get killed. We see that the alien virus is called, creatively, the alien virus. It has a 100% mortality rate, so their mission to save mankind from extinction requires them to find a cure. But the only problem is that every probe that went before has failed to come back because of the giant terraformers who have infested Mars. Their mission name is Annex. The existence of the virus has not been made public yet. It has been a matter of great tension and stress for the scientists. The first contamination seems to trace back to 42 years and has drastically risen till now. They begin their Annex 1 mission to go on their ship, which will take 39 days to reach Mars. While they travel, they go about their days like normal. Akari, Alex, Marcos, Sheila, and Eva become good friends. Sheila even admits that she's in love with Captain Komachi because he was kind to her. One time back on Earth, Hiruma, the deputy commander of Yonsei, is investigating a man, Professor Honda, who was involved as an engineer in the Bug 2 project 20 years ago. Honda tried to mutiny against the members, but Hiruma has come to the professor, not seeking revenge but with the intention to protect his country. He needs Honda's help and information up in space. 39 days have now passed and they are about to land on Mars. Marcos and Akari are waiting in line in the bathroom and are wondering why the girl before them is taking ages, so they peek into the door, but the girl stares back at these perverts. We're expecting her to beat up these boys, but turns out she's dead. A monster comes in holding her body. It's the Formars. Akari realizes that he is able to stop them to leave and find the drugs. The drugs are required to bring out their abilities from the surgery. Turns out there are 6 Terraformars on board, which is the same number as the officers. They are killing everyone brutally and everyone is panicking. As Marcos and Alex reach the storeroom, they see 2 Terraformars destroying the drugs. Marcos and Akari realize that the Terraformers are intelligent and know that they need to destroy the drugs before the humans can use them. Every one of them is getting killed one by one. How did they get on board? How long have they been here? No one knows. Captain Komachi suspects that this was a setup. and tries to head back to Earth and use the terraformers on board as samples, but his superior declines his request. Just then, the ship breaks down and falls towards Mars. The main engine of the ship is damaged. The 6 officers are taking charge now. We see more terraformers. As the ship is nearer to Mars, all of the personnel are ordered to head to escape ships. The 6 officers take out drugs and inject themselves with them. They receive immense strength from it and they begin their attack on terraformers. While the other crew members are amazed, they kill every terraformer on board. They now have a plan. They will spread out based on their continent of origin and land on Mars using high-speed escape ships. Different officers will be leading different ships. Akari, Marco, Alex, Sheila, and Eva, who were pretty close in their training together, will be separated into different ships. They wish each other good luck before leaving. Once they spread out and reach the surface of Mars, they are mesmerized by the beauty of that place. The greenery is due to the algae that the human scientists released 500 years ago. The team members can breathe with ease because of the surgery they went through. One of the ships, led by the Roman officer, is trapped in a net and crashes. This is the terraformers doing. The ship is swarmed by them and it is impossible to escape. The Russian division is attacked by a terraformer. It cuts one of the captain's arms from his body, but yet he is in his spirits and fights. What is it about old men and anime? The division is ready to capture the terraformer for sampling, but the terraformer beheads one of its important members. Captain Komachi explains to his division that they will be rescued from Earth after 40 days. Till then, their mission is to rendezvous where the main ship is crashed and recover samples of the Mars virus. Their division will regroup with Michelle's group and take over the ship again. Suddenly, they are attacked by one of the terraformers who is trying to go for the drugs, so Captain Komachi drives the ship away. The captain takes Marcos and another dude named Keiji out with him to fight it and capture it alive for a virus sample. They are ordered to take the drug, but as they are about to take in the drug, the terraformer runs in the opposite direction. It was just a decoy. The classic bait and switch. The actual one flies to the ship. They're scared. Sheila is waiting for it. With a net gun, she successfully traps it with a net, which is 3 times stronger than a normal terraformer. The terraformer struggles, but it's useless. Suddenly, the terraformer puts his hands like he's about to do a Kamehameha. What good is that going to do? Wait, what? The terraformer shoots Sheila with very powerful concentrated gases, which rips a hole right through her chest. She takes her last breath on the lap of Captain Komachi, the man she loved, because he was kind to her that one time. Despite them splitting up, the terraformers have found them way too easily. They are way smarter than expected. Captain Komachi, Marcos and the others decide to fight back with drugs. The terraformars may have super strength and speed because they evolved from cockroaches, but this team of humans have a new evolution within them. The strength, speed, and sensory abilities of the huntsman spider that regularly feeds on cockroaches. Using this superior power, and with the rage of losing his childhood friend Sheila, he goes berserk and kills them. Back in the past, Sheila, Marcos, and Alex used to live in a very violent Mexican neighborhood. One day, their town got destroyed by a mob fire. Sheila left while the 2 boys stayed back. After growing up in a violent upbringing, they went to NASA for work. Sheila was also there for an interview. As far as Marcos is concerned, Sheila was everything to him. Marcos continues beating the crap out of the terraformars, but he gets tired. The huntsman spider is notorious for having low stamina, just like me in bed. Ahem. Anyways, Marcos is about to be killed, but Captain Komachi saves him. Elsewhere, Michelle takes on a terraformer solo and destroys it, while the rest watch in shock. On top of the surgery powers, she also has the power of a paraponera ant, which can lift hundreds of times its own weight. Apparently, she inherited it from her father, who was on the Bugs 2 missions 20 years ago. Her ability also allows her to explode her enemies down on Earth. Hiruma tells Professor Honda that Michelle and Akari are the 2 most powerful people on the Annex project. Honda is shocked as he seems to recognize Icardi. Up on Mars, Akari releases his mutation powers. He says that his powers usually make him blind with rage, but with the drug he is calm and composed. He uses his, and an invisible wire to capture the terraformer without killing it. Icardi thinks about another kid he met at the hospital just before the Annex mission. The kid was dying from the Mars virus, and Icardi wants to complete the mission fast in order to cure the kid, since he's still guilty of not being able to save his lover. Icardi continues capturing the terraformers using his mutations. After all, he has the powers of a bagworm moth, which makes the strongest string ever. They put the terraformer samples in safe storage. They start settling down, but suddenly another terraformer crashes down from the sky. A new challenger has appeared. Another one grabs Michelle from the lake and takes her underwater before she can use the drug. They are all left with a terraformer that fell from the sky. It has extremely powerful legs that it uses to lift the vehicle cover. Then the terraformer hijacks the vehicle with the human still inside. Once on the skies, it turns to them. It is about to go full Kaido on them, but Alex throws a rock attached to Icardi's string by attaching it to the bug. Icardi climbs aboard, making a dynamic entry. Then he sends his comrades flying away safely and turns to face the special terraformer. Meanwhile, Michelle has to fight the terraformer that has adapted to underwater living. 2 years ago, Michelle sneaked into NASA to look at the team from the Bugs 2 mission. 20 years ago, everyone in that team was mutated with unique insect abilities. Both she and Icardi realized that some of these terraformers have special abilities, because they use the corpses of the people who died back then. The super-legged enemy breaks free and he starts beating up Icardi, but Alex cannot help him as he has to save the crew members. Using Icardi's strings in the water, the terraformer drags Michelle deep into the waters. She cannot explode this enemy because its body temperature is too low, so she uses UFC grappling to suffocate the enemy. Khabib would have been proud. Then she breaks its legs. However, she is also losing consciousness. Back in the skies, the terraformer beats up Icardi and starts working on the plane, but Icardi wakes up when it jumps in. Icardi uses his strings and his better fighting technique to kick its ass. On top of that, Icardi apparently attached his strings to Michelle so she gets pulled out of the water by the plane. Icardi knocks out the terraformer and Alex finishes the job. Suddenly, they get an SOS message from another team, but Icardi is not sure which team it can't be. The Russian crew, even though they are completely surrounded in front of the Martian pyramids, the Russian crew is chill AF because apparently all their members are made up of combat-trained people. A powerful showdown is about to happen. Michelle wakes up outside the lake face to face with the terraformer. Turns out it got dragged out as well. Michelle brutally kills it for groping her chest earlier. The legged terraformer and Icardi also land on the ground, but Icardi has tied its leg using his string. Michelle allows her facial muscles to smile as she and Icardi work together to capture the two special terraformers. However, turns out their emergency ship crashed so they can only drive it. Instead of flying it, they go towards the SOS signal, which was sent by the Roman division and Captain Komaki's division. Meanwhile, Sylvester, the leader of the Russian division, makes some hypotheses as to how six-legged cockroaches became two-legged. Now Sylvester thinks that it's artificial evolution. When the terraformer gets offended and rushes forward to cancel Sylvester, Sylvester kills him quite easily because he has the powers of a giant crab that is supposed to be super tough, so tough that he can take direct hits from the terraformers and also regenerate his limbs. The Russian squad gets into a fierce battle with the terraformers. They use their mutated insect powers to kill them easily. One of them is Ivan, whose sister was killed the moment they landed. You know, the one who was aiming her net gun but got beheaded like a bowling ball. So apparently Ivan has the powers of a plant that can create hallucinations and fevers. He uses his genjutsu powers on one of them, and it starts imagining terrible things. Sylvester thinks about how his life was affected by terrorists. On top of that, his daughter is sick with the alien virus. Once they capture the terraformers, they enter the Martian pyramids. Michelle and Adolf talk about how they need to get back to the crash site before the Chinese and Russians do. It's the 27th century and the same countries are rivals. Kind of hard to believe, to be honest. Michelle reminds everyone that cockroaches are nocturnal creatures. This means that terraformers are probably going to be stronger at night since we don't have enough backstories. Let's do Adolf the German. He was used as a test subject for the mutations ever since he was a little child. Because of this, he has grown to become an absolute beast of a fighter in the present. Michelle goes to respond to the SOS alert while Adolf goes to the crash site. On the way they are attacked by loads upon loads upon loads of terraformers, who seem to have defeated the Chinese division and are using their weapons, so Adolf and another girl named Isabella enter the fight. Adolf has the electric powers of the electric eel. He uses his knives to attack his enemies with electricity. Even in his past, he was hit with loads of electric shocks to give him this power. Honestly, it's just sad. Adolf starts thinking about his messed up life. He thought that his life was a waste until he met Rosa and had love at first sight. Adolf and Rosa started connecting and he found new meaning in his hell of a life. They started dating and it was a pretty rosy life for Rosa and Adolf. Eventually they got married. However, this story has a sad ending because of course everyone has a sad story here. Apparently Rosa had an affair. That bitch. However, Adolf loves her a lot and he forgives her. Eventually they have a baby, but Adolf has DNA testing and turns out it does not belong to him. That's got to be the worst thing. Apparently his wife cheated on him again. Isabella has the mutation of a powerful carnivorous insect. She has a lot of hype about how powerful she herself is until she's one-shotted by a special terraformer. Adolf is left as the only proper fighter. Now, as he's murdering the life out of the terraformers, he gets sad and starts thinking about his sad life. Suddenly, the terraformers take the Chinese emergency vehicle and come close. They flourish their flag while the rest of the terraformers speak in a weird tongue. They start walking closer in proper marching formation while Adolf drops them like bowling pins. However, he's one man fighting against many and he gets overwhelmed. They are just about to kill him, but his crew members come out in their weak human forms and they try to fight back, but they are easily dominated. Using the distraction, Aniva grabs Adolf and tries to take him back. Terraformers try to stop her, but the others sacrifice themselves to save Adolf, but Adolf is busy thinking about his sad past. Suddenly, he gets this burning rage and a will to live. His electricity power works as a defibrillator and he gets up while his crew members watch in shock. He consumes a terrible amount of drugs, so much that he might end up dying. But what is death to a man who is already dying? He beats the everlasting crap out of the terraformers with his supreme powers and fighting skills, eventually killing half of the entire freaking army. He throws his knives to the leaders and they stop them with a flag. But this was all according to plan. The knives work as a rod. Adolf flips his middle finger at them and brings down an entire lightning on the leader. Honestly, that's so metal. The flag gets destroyed and the leader falls defeated. However, Adolf also falls down after losing all his strength. Thankfully, the remaining terraformers stop moving and they stare at the cliff where their leader is lying down. Another terraformer comes and starts stamping on the leader's heart. Because of this extreme level of CPR, the leader wakes up alive and well. It points to the humans and all the terraformers point their guns at them while also taking the captured humans in their nets. But Eva steps in front of him like the hero that she is. But it's going to be a waste. All the terraformers shoot at them, but Adolf is a man too angry to die. He releases more of his energy and creates a barrier that stops all the bullets. This man just refuses to die. Seeing this, all the terraformers drop their guns. Then they start using slings to throw rocks at them before they are hit. Adolf grabs Eva and quickly whispers something into her ears. Then he is absolutely ravaged by the rocks. The leader halts the attack and Adolf drops dead in front of Eva. While Eva is mourning over him, the leader jumps down to her. Eva starts punching it like a little girl. That's right, that'll show him. When another terraformer goes to grab Adolf's corpse, a ticking sound starts. Well, ticking. Turns out Adolf's body had been fixed with a self-destruct by the scientists who experimented on him. All the terraformers run away like little kids. Instead of running away, Eva holds his head while the other crew members are also happy to die alongside their commander, as they have had a very strong bond all their lives long before they came to Mars. The explosion is huge, and it is spotted by Michelle's division. Based on the direction of the explosion, Michelle guesses that Adolf is dead. Back on Earth, Rosa tries to get Adolf's army payment, but she gets rejected and serves her right for that. Hope we never see you again. Elsewhere, Captain Komaki's division is having a hard time because they have been separated. The terraformers are using slangs and there are several special type terraformers there. Thankfully, their division has capable fighters like Marcus, Keiji, Kanako and of course Captain Komachi. Kanako has the abilities of the needletail bird, which allows her to fly while also being super agile and strong. No terraformer can match your speed as she slices and dices her way through their army. Except for that net, I forgot that the terraformers are smart. Thankfully, Marcus saves her and kills the rest of them down in some caves. Keiji is facing a special type of terraformer. Keiji has the abilities of the peacock mantis shrimp, which gives him regeneration abilities, night vision, and a very, very, very powerful punch. He was also once the world lightweight boxing champion, so he has quite a bit of fighting skills with him. KG is a simple man with a simple way of living. He loves his mother very much and he's a good son to her. One day he suddenly starts losing his sight. He has a retinal detachment which he fixes through surgery. The surgery costs a lot, so he goes into debt. Since his eyesight never became normal again, he has to retire from boxing. So KG starts working as a normal mailman. And the worst thing? His mother also passes away. One day, he is contacted by NASA for the next mission to Mars. Kaguya accepted it on one request to have the insect with the best eyesight, so that one day he can go back and properly look at the town where his mother grew up. So he gets the peacock mantis shrimp, which also has one of the strongest punches which it uses to break shells. Meanwhile, KG's opponent is a terraformer that has evolved from an insect with a super hard shell. It's a battle of an immovable object versus an unstoppable force. They have a pretty intense hand-to-hand combat, and KG even manages to put some cracks on its armor while dodging all its attacks. Suddenly, he starts crying, thinking about his mother and his new friends. The terraformer takes this opportunity to punch him through the wall, but KG seriously has the power of friendship with him and he gets up. He compares this to another tough boxing match he once had. During those difficult moments, he always heard his mother's voice and that kept him going. Now he has all these new friends who are just so happy to be with him. KG is happy, so KG happily murders the terraformer with one punch. Let's go back to a couple of decades earlier. The second mission to Mars, called the Bugs 2 mission. Captain Komachi is so young here and he was not even a captain back then. It's this big and serious dude called Donatello, who is Michelle's father. Another member is this girl named Akita. Komachi and Akita are childhood friends and they are in love, but she was killed by a terraformer. Akita had the abilities of a silkworm and she could create silk threads. Back in the present, Captain Komachi comes face to face with the terraformer that has absorbed her silkworm powers. They are fighting in a cavern which has been surrounded by the terraformar strings. Komachi beats the everlasting crap out of the terraformer and kills it. He has the abilities of the Japanese hornet, which gives him piercers and poisons. Meanwhile, the Russian team is investigating the pyramids, but Sylvester is suspicious because nothing has come to stop them until now. They find a probe ship that was sent by humans 100 years ago to check up on Mars, but the probe never came back. Apparently the terraformers use this technology to become advanced like they are now. Elsewhere, Captain Komachi and KG see a strange device flying across the sky. They turn out to be fueled missiles which explode all over the planet. The humans are not struck by the missiles, but their drugs start losing effect. On top of that, the terraformars go crazy and they get even more powerful. They start killing the humans in droves. The Russians find a control room full of plants and blueprints for spaceships and mutations. They, along with Captain Komachi, realize that one of the divisions from their mission has betrayed them and provided vital information to the Martians. The terraformars are just about to kill a helpless Marcos, but Alex throws his baseball with supreme force. Alex throws lots of rocks, killing lots of terraformars. He also sends the drug with it. Marcos consumes it and regains his insect abilities. Meanwhile, a unique terraformer with shiny armor goes to save the captured terraformars. Another one of the missiles starts dropping, but Alex throws a rock and destroys it. Akari and Michelle also arrive to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and there is no bubblegum on Mars. Back on Earth, the Prime Minister of Japan, Ichiro, who was also the second survivor of the Bugs 2 mission alongside Komachi, talks with President Goodman, the American president. President Goodman reveals that the rescue ship hasn't even left Earth, much to Ichiro's shock. Meanwhile, on Mars, Akari holds down the special terraformer with really strong arms. Michelle goes to fight the shiny armored terraformer. It seems to have adapted from the rainbow beetle, and it uses camouflage to hide, so another crew member named Jared uses his powers to assist her. Marcos and Alex finally reunite. Marcos immediately falls to his knees, begging forgiveness for not being able to save Sheila. Alex is devastated and he punches Marcos, but he also pulls him back up and yells at him to get a hold of himself. He promises to avenge Sheila, so they all have an Avengers Assemble moment and get ready to fight the enemy. Meanwhile, Jared uses his echo sonar abilities that he got from a killer whale. The terraformer appears just above him, and Michelle stops it just in time. They have a serious grappling battle, but let's not forget Michelle's passive ability explosion. That is what happens to the shiny bling ring. Terraformer. Back on Earth, Hiruma tells Honda that the radio to the Annex mission has been jammed, but they don't know by whom. On Mars, The Russians look at the designs that one of the human countries probably gave to the terraformers. They realize which division betrayed their mission, but they don't reveal it to the audience now for suspense reasons. Elsewhere, Akari's drug starts getting depleted, so he starts losing control as he's no longer who is. Maybe he just needs Snickers. But Captain Komachi and Michelle, the two people who brought him on this mission, calm him down and he thanks them. They all take more drugs and have a Power Ranger style power up. Then they have themselves a massacre down on Earth. Hiruma asks Honda to join him to stop that division which has betrayed them up on Mars. The humans destroy the terraformars, one after the other. Down on Earth, Prime Minister Ichiro sends a rescue mission to Mars, even if no one else will help them up on Mars. The terraformars are getting destroyed, so they all gather together in even greater numbers to fight them. But Akari is not concerned. He promises to beat them no matter what. Saying so, he runs towards them. In the post-credits scene, we see that the Chinese division is alive and well. They only pretended to be dead and they are the ones who betrayed the Annex mission. We also see a spaceship that looks like the ones in the designs in the pyramids. The spaceship seems to be going towards Earth. What is the endgame plan of the Chinese? We have yet to find out. And with that, the series is wrapped up. If you enjoyed the series, don't forget to leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.